All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025, and I can't believe we're already in week 13. I mean, week 14 of the NFL. I meant to do like the week 13. No, we're in week 14, 15, whatever. Who cares? We're in week 14 of the NFL already at the end of the bye weeks as well. The season is flying by. It's going by rather quick, and it's been quite a fun season. Before we jump into the video, I went 10-6 last week, had a really rough start. I think a lot of people either went 2-2, 1-3, 0-4 to start off the week. Just like a weird holiday set of games. A lot of upsets. However, we recovered to go 10-6, so we went 10-2 down the stretch, which is pretty good. Excuse me. Burt means a good week ahead. Might win every game this week. Might go 14-0. But yeah, so we did pretty good last week. Hopefully we do better. Hopefully we see things a little bit more clearly than we did last week. But we did all right. Before we jump into our week 14 picks, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Helps the channel out, helps the video do better, all that YouTube stuff, blah, 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 blah. But the more important thing is make sure you leave your picks down below in a comment. How'd you do last week? How's your pick'em overall going on the season? What's your overall record last week, what your picks are for this week, what you think of the video, whatever you want to comment. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Sometimes I'm a little slow because I have things going on, but hey, I get back to you as soon as I can. You get comments, I get comments. Everybody has a good time. We have fun doing pick'em, and yeah, that's about usual around here. So I think that's about that. So we can jump into our week 14 NFL pick'em. Let's see. Here's all of our pick records for the week. We are good for we went 10-6 last week, kind of like we said. 122, 71-1. Hopefully we kind of stop getting a bunch of games wrong and stay under 100 losses. We're still at 62.8%, pretty good pick'em record, pretty good percentage picking. Hopefully we have a good strong week to kind of strengthen it a little bit more than it is. So let's see. Week 14, we have some games to go over, but we have some teams off. Final week of the bye weeks. The Patriots, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers are off this week. So if you're a fan of the Patriots or 49ers, you watch and hope a bunch of teams lose, so that way your team sits even better in the playoff standings. Panthers, similar thing. You're kind of hoping the Bucks lose, and if you're the Giants, you don't have to watch your team lose. What a win. Maybe you're hoping the Eagles and Cowboys and all them guys lose. No, everyone's miserable. Either way, those are the last of the bye weeks, and Thursday Night Football, we're back to a normal schedule. 14 games to go over, and this one's unfortunate. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Detroit Lions. Lions are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 54.5. Cowboys are 6-5-1, coming off a win over the Chiefs, 31-28. Lions are 7-5 after they lost to the Packers, 31-24. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one. Normally, I would go with the Lions. I like to pick them pretty regularly. But in this kind of instance, I'm sort of hoping this is a jinx. And I end up getting this wrong. So the Cowboys or the Lions end up winning. I don't know how jinxes work, but we'll see if that ends up. But I also think that the Cowboys have one of the better offenses in the NFL this year. They've put up a lot of points on the Chiefs, who have played really good defense all year. Even in the Cowboys' big losses, they were scoring a lot of points, 30, 40 points, and losing. So that makes me go, all right, they have one of the better offenses. And then Detroit's defense has been pretty non-existent, it feels like. They give up points. They're very easy to convert on. There isn't much of a challenge against them, it feels like. Every so often they look all right, but for the most part, it's just off. So I kind of am like, man, like 1 or 2 drives a game, the Lions offense just looks like shit. Whereas the Cowboys look pretty good on most drives. And so what I think happens in this game is I think it's going to be a very close game for the most of it, because again, the Cowboys don't play great defense. Lions play great offense. They're going to score on the Cowboys, but I feel like the Lions will make some kind of weird decision or weird mistake where they just miss out on some points on a drive, and the Cowboys won't make those mistakes as far as like, hey, our offense almost always scores and our defense may suck, but we could probably make a stop. Whereas I don't know if the Lions can do that. Plus the Lions tend to beat themselves a bit, like weird decisions to go for things, or odd personnel matchups, or just odd decisions and stuff like that. Plus without Amon-Ra, I'm not really sure how this team's going to look. Probably going to miss this game. Short week, kind of got to readjust the whole offense. Not a big fan of that either. So Give me the Cowboys in a game that I'm hoping I jinxed them. The Seattle, the Battle of the Birds. The Seahawks take on the Falcons. Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites with an over/under of 44.5. Seahawks shut out the Vikings 26-0, and the Falcons lost to the Jets 27-24. And that's a prime example of why you just don't pick the Jets. I was stupid and picked them last week. This is a good time to pick them. Then I figured out you shouldn't have did that. Should have just picked the Seahawks or the Jets. So the rule is in effect. You never pick the Falcons. Don't ever take them. Always go with the team playing them, even if they're home, away, home. It doesn't matter. Just go with the Seahawks. They're a better team. Plus, Seahawks on the road in the East Coast. They're an absolute dynamo to deal with. So give me the Seahawks in a pretty easy game. One of the good games this week will be the Steelers taking on the Ravens. Ravens are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 43.5. Both teams 6-6. Both teams fighting for first place in the AFC North. Quite a little battle here. The Steelers coming off a 26-7 loss to the Bills, and the Ravens are coming off a 32-14 loss to the Bengals. I don't know. Give me the Ravens, right? Ravens have been playing okay defense until the Bengals showed up. Their offense, it may not be the greatest, but they've been still able to kind of win and kind of play great defense to supplement it. And I think the defense that the Ravens have been playing lately is pretty much enough to kind of shut down the Steelers. Especially if the Ravens are able to replicate what the Bills just kind of did to him and kind of shut him down. Rodgers is playing with weird health issues. We're not really sure how healthy he is, if he's going to start, if he does, how close to good is he to go. It feels like the Steelers are kind of collapsing and everything's imploding on them, whereas the Ravens are stumbling their way forward. So I like the Ravens here to kind of take dominating control of first in the division. Who gives a shit? The Titans take on the Browns. Browns are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 33.5. That's a low scoring. I actually have them going under that. Yeah, I don't really see either offense doing much. The Titans are 1-11. The Browns are 3-9. I see the Titans. I see Myles Garrett getting 5-6 sacks in this game. And the Browns win basically just because of their defense. Both teams got blown out in their losses too. So give me the Browns in a boring, ugly game. Another game of the week candidate, the Colts take on the Jaguars. Colts are 1.5-point favorites with an over/under of 47.5. Both teams are 8-4. Colts coming off a loss to the Texans, though. They're at 20-16, and the Jaguars are coming off a win, 25-3 over the Titans. I'm going to be going with the Jaguars. Dating as far back as Peyton Manning, the Indianapolis Colts do not really win in Jacksonville. It's like the one place on earth where this franchise doesn't play well. And normally I'm not a big fan of this team never does this, so they're going to lose. But it's the Colts don't win in Jacksonville. Even Peyton couldn't win down there. I don't know what happens to Indy. They suck in Jacksonville. So there's that. 2, the Jaguars are kind of playing better football than the Colts are the last couple games. It's just that's 2. The Colts are dealing with Daniel Jones having a weird leg injury, and if he's not able to go, then you have their backup quarterbacks, which aren't great. Teams have kind of figured out that, hey, if you kind of sell out and shut down Jonathan Taylor, that team really doesn't do very much else. Or they don't score as often. They're not as dynamic, especially with leg issues for Jones. So I'd imagine the Jaguars, who are pretty good at getting after quarterbacks, take advantage of the hop of Jones, take advantage of the run game, kind of try to shut that down. And I'd imagine Jaguars, play offense like they usually do. Pretty consistent offense anyway. I don't know. I feel like this is set up for the Jaguars to win, especially mainly because they're at home. If this was in Indy, you might go Jaguars or the Colts, but All right, that's the first slate of ones. Who cares? There's a lot of weird scheduling where it's a who gives a shit game, and then it's a game of the week candidate. Another who gives a shit after a game of the week candidate. The Commanders take on the Vikings. Vikings are 1.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42.5. Commanders lost to the Broncos 27-26, and the Vikings got shut out 26-0. I'm gonna just go with the Vikings because they're home. I may switch this depending on. I have an asterisk on this. If JJ McCarthy plays, I'll probably keep the Vikings. But if he doesn't play, I'm probably going to go with the Commanders. So that's kind of my take on because the Vikings suck without. Man, the Vikings offense looks somehow bad. I don't get it. You'd think with just having Justin Jefferson, you'd be able to ball out, but hey, another shitty game. The Dolphins take on the Jets. Dolphins are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 41.5. Dolphins beat the Saints 21-17, 5-7. Jets beat the Falcons 27-24. They're 3-9. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. They've looked pretty good lately. They've kind of turned it around since the rough start. I doubt they're gonna make a good enough run to get in the playoffs, but hey, they go to 6-7 and the Chiefs fall to 6-7, then hey, you know what I mean? They're the same record as Kansas City, and anything could happen at that point. Yeah, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine in this game. My only question is if the weather's really, I'm gonna review this game on Saturday, because if the weather is supposed to be real bad and snowy and cold, I'm probably gonna switch over to the Jets. But also Miami can kind of run the ball, so I don't know. I'm gonna just go Dolphins. The Saints take on the Buccaneers. Bucks are favored by 8.5 with an over/under of 42.5. Saints are 2-10 after their loss to the Dolphins, and the Buccaneers are 7-5 after they beat the Cardinals. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. They're a better team than the Saints. They have better offense, got a better defense, better special teams, better coaching. You know what I mean? Everything on the Bucks is better than what the Saints have going on right now. Plus the Saints like quarterback situation is like horrible. You know, they just can't they don't score offense, they don't do anything on offense. I don't know, they're just a very underwhelming football team, the New Orleans Saints are, and it's really easy to pick against them. Normally it's like kind of fun to decide like, hey, can the Bucks actually beat the Saints? But now it's just like, well, how badly are the Bucks going to beat the Saints? Saints used to just kind of always beat the Buccaneers. Now it's not very fun. No. Ooh, another good game. The Bengals take on the Bills. Bills are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 52.5. Cincinnati is 4-8 after they upset the Ravens, and the Bills are 8-4 after a 26-7 win over the Steelers. So my main takeaway from this game is what team wants to win this game or needs to win this game more, and that's the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals need like a million things to happen and everything to go just their way to make the playoffs. So they probably don't really care as much as the Bills, because if the Bills lose, they're in really hot water. Because then the Patriots can lose that game, and then the Patriots could win the next game that they play and clinch the division. You know what I mean? So it's like Bills can't really afford to lose this game, or else they keep setting up New England to clinch every week for the rest of this. So Buffalo's going to really need to focus and win this game. They're going to come out playing their best version of football, their best offense, their best defense, their most focused version of football, because again, they know that they're playing the Burrow-led Bengals, so they're going to be prepared like they're playing an 8-4 team, not really a 4-8 team. So they won't be overlooking the Bengals. They'll be kind of right in this moment, because again, right now for the Bills, weird shit can happen, and they could find themselves in a bad spot as far as the division goes. Already it's a bad spot, because if they lose to the Patriots on week 15, that's a clinch for the Pats. So again, everything's kind of in this weird stasis right now where the Bills kind of got to win this game. And I also think that when the Bills offense is clicking and working, they can beat most defenses. And the Bengals defense, though it's been playing well the last couple weeks, still is very suspect until we see it the rest of the way through. It's like, oh no, they turned it around. I don't, you know what I mean? So we'll kind of see about all that. We'll see how they react to the Bills and company, which I don't think it'll go very well. I think they'll keep it close because of the offense that the Bengals have now. Bills defense really isn't that great all the time. You know, even if they keep it close, I trust the Bills defense to make a play and make something happen more than I do the Bengals. So I'll take the Bills in a fun game. Oh, Broncos take on the Raiders. Broncos are 10-2 with a win over the Commanders by 1. That was a fun game. The Raiders are 2-10 after they lost to the Chargers 31-14. Broncos are 7.5-point favorites with an over/under of 40. I don't know why I said all that so weird. I needed a drink of water. And that's why I got the Broncos winning. I don't really have a good reason. I just know that they're going to. Raiders probably won't score any points. or pretty much none. Broncos will put up some points like they do in most games pretty late in the game, and they'll kind of just front run it to the back. You know, I don't know. This is a pretty easy game to predict. All right, a game of the week candidate, probably the best game this week. The Bears take on the Packers. Packers are 6.5 point favorites with an over under of 44.5. Packers are 8-3-1 after a win versus the Eagles, or the win versus the Lions. And the Bears beat the Eagles 24-15 to improve to 9-3. I wanted to pick the Bears in this game, and I truly did. But I gotta see the Bears beat the Packers in a competitive game where both teams desperately want to win, where there's major stakes on winning. Because for a while, we haven't really seen the Bears do that. Usually the Bears fall apart in this exact scenario where they're in Green Bay, having to play Green Bay. Division on the line. This is usually a spot where the Bears as a franchise kind of folds and buckles. And I'm expecting them to do the same. It seems like it's a franchise curse to fall to Green Bay. But hey, do I want the Bears to go in there and beat Green Bay and win? Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be pretty cool. 10-3 with the win over Chicago. Or over Green Bay, they're eternal tormentors. That would be pretty sweet. I'm hoping the Bears can pull this off, but I unfortunately think because it's in Green Bay, because of all the stipulations around it, because of all the all the hype and all the circumstance behind the game, I wonder if the Bears rise to the occasion with a young head coach, a young quarterback, the first time they've both been in this situation as coach and quarterback. So not really sure what we'll see out of this team. I'm expecting them to perform pretty well like they did versus the Eagles, but we'll kind of see, right? Division games are always weird. It's tricky with this one. The Packers are super ready. I know I'm leaning on the Packers here. If it was in Chicago, I'd probably go with the Bears, though. Pretty easy game here. The Rams take on the Cardinals. Rams are 8.5 point favorites with an over-under of 48.5. Rams did just get upset by the Panthers 31-28, but Panthers are a good little team. And the Cardinals lost to the Bucks 20-17. I'm going to go with the Rams here. Don't really expect it to be that close. Cardinals play okay football. They're not like the worst team. They just kind of don't score enough to win games. It's like, I know that's like a very you don't score, but it's just like, yeah, they just don't score points. They just don't get enough to win games, to lose games. Rather remarkable how that works. So, I don't know. Could be a fun division matchup, though. I don't know. I think the Rams win pretty comfortably, though. Probably one of them slaughter games where the Rams put up 40 in the fucking 4 p.m. window. All right, Sunday Night Football. What do we got? Ooh, another good game. I forgot there's some good prime-timers this week. The Texans take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites with an over-under of 42.5. Texans are 7-5 with their win, and the Chiefs are... Why'd I put the Texans right there? The Chiefs are 6-6 after they lost 31-28 to the Cowboys. Yeah, if the Chiefs lose, they may be out of the playoffs because they'd be 6-7, and that'd be pretty much that. There'd be no real shot at them winning the division at that rate. There'd be no real shot at them making the wild card unless a bunch of stuff went their way. And I think they're running into a really big problem with the Houston Texans. The Chiefs play pretty bad offense, inconsistent. They have trouble scoring. Their run game is pretty doesn't really have a run game. Receivers aren't great. Pretty much the whole system, the whole thing isn't great. And they're going up against the Texans, who can shut down an offense, right? They held the Colts to 16. They can go in there, shut your run game down, force you to throw it to your bad receivers, which is what Kansas City is going to have to do. They're going to have to rely on the pass game. With the weak offensive line that we've seen out of them this year, we're probably going to see a ton of pressure from the Texans, taking advantage of the weak line, getting a ton of pressure, making Mahomes perform badly, rush throws to bad receivers, no run game. I don't really see how the Chiefs are going to be able to pull that one off unless they kind of get their shit together and kind of click back into being Kansas City. Because right now, again, they've already struggled with the run. Offensive line isn't the greatest. Receivers aren't the greatest. And playing the Texans speeds all of this up and makes it more apparent that they're not great. I don't know. And the Texans offense can probably just whittle away and get enough points to win the game like they've done all year. The defense holds the team close. Offense just whittles and whittles and whittles it down till the Texans are winning. They pulled off a 7-5 record doing it, so Give me the Texans and maybe the elimination of the Chiefs. Another good one. The Eagles take on the Chargers. Eagles are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 40.5. I have an asterisk on this game. If Justin Herbert plays and doesn't seem off, like throughout, and like he's like fine to play and practices even this week a little, then I'll go with the Chargers. But right now, I don't think he's going to play. He just had that left hand wrist surgery or left hand surgery. So it's like he could play, but I kind of doubt it right after week 1. So I'm kind of thinking Chargers wind up losing this one because they're running a backup team. But if Herbert does play, I kind of want to revisit this pick. But as it lies right now, I'm going to go with the Eagles winning this game. They're going to get bright. I can't imagine them losing another game in a row here. What would that be? 3 in a row? That'd be pretty crazy. Imagine them coming out quite focused. But again, Chargers been playing pretty good. Chargers been winning games. They kind of come through. They're able to take advantage of teams. So I don't know. It'll be close. We'll kind of look at that game once we know more about what Herbert's up to. But yeah, that'll be that for my week 14 picks video. Hopefully you enjoyed the picks, enjoyed the discussion of everything. If you did, make sure you drop a like, leave a subscribe if you're new around here. Both those things help the video perform a lot, pretty well, pretty great. Appreciate you if you can do that. Also, make sure you leave your comments down below with your picks, with your record from this year, with your record from last week, how you're doing overall, all those fun stuff. Put it in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, that's week 14. It's in the drain, in the tube, in the dumps, in the disposal, in the nuclear waste site, in the sewer disposal system that goes underneath the streets and winds around and winds up in a pile of shit at the end of some water processing plant. Either way, whenever you listen. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. I'm all out of whack right now. I wrote a big paper the last 2 days, so I'm a little bit fucked up. I'm a little bit like funky. Either way, appreciate y'all listening. Thank you so much. Been a fun year like always, and yeah, week 14. Either way, whenever you listen, have a good one. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots. I'm gonna get out of here. Peace out, and all right, could you press stop recording now? What do you mean you can't press the button? It's right there. What am I paying you $800 an hour for? Stop.